We discussed the serial communication interrupt program. Okay, so I have modified the code which I shared yesterday in WhatsApp. Okay, which can uh, which is uh, programmed for both the transmission interrupt as well as reception interrupt. Yes, let us quickly look into the program. Um, okay, so initialize the PC for the with 00, take a jump to the main program. Okay, so here what we are doing is basically I'm using okay, I'm not using the port. We can send it to port 0 anyway. Port, okay, so you can have port 0. Okay, port 3 I'm not using. Let me delete the port 3. I'm not using port 3 anyway. Okay, okay, so now in the main program I'm using port 1 and port 0. Port 1 I'm configuring it as a input port. Port 0 I'm configuring it as a output port. Okay, so because say once it is running, if you want to externally modify in the simulator, okay, it will not work if you have not initially configured it as a either input port or a output port. Okay, so better to start with the configuration of ports as a input port or a output port. Okay, yes, next is this these three lines remains same as we discussed in the last class. Okay, so first is the tmod 20h, which will select timer 1 in mode operation. Okay, and next is th1 minus 3 the fdh, which will generate 9600 baud rate. So SCON with 50h, which will enable the RN bit. RN stands for receive enable. For a serial communication, we require this bit. We have to enable this bit. So 8-bit auto reload mode. Sorry, 8-bit data, one start bit and one stop bit. Okay. So this is the configuration with 50h loaded to SCON register. Okay. Then enable the interrupt due to serial communication. Okay, so load 90h2 IE interrupt enable register. Next, start the timer to generate the baud rate. Okay, yeah. So what we are doing in this program is, okay, I'm reading the data from port 1. I'm copying it to accumulator. So the same data I'm going to copy into SBUF register so that I can transfer the data serially. Okay, so in this part I'm transferring the data serially. Okay, so now let us say in case if there is any interrupt, when does the interrupt comes? Two possibility. When the last bit is transferred, the last bit of data is transferred, it will generate interrupt. It will automatically jump to the interrupt service routine loaded at 0023h. Okay, and when it receives the data serially, again it gets the interrupt, then again it jumps to the serial ISR of the serial communication. Okay, so thereby the ISR for the serial communication should deal with the interrupt due to both reception of data as well as transmission of data. Okay, so thereby in the main program I have written only for the the reception of data from port 1. So which I'm going to, sorry, for transmission, sorry, for transmission I'm writing in the main program. If I receive the data, I'll receive that in the ISR. Okay, so in ISR consists of so first thing what we are going to do in ISR is first check whether it is due to a transmission interrupt or reception interrupt. If it is due to transmission interrupt, jump here, that is trans. Okay, so that means transmission means 8-bit of data is all 8-bit data is already transferred. So before we transfer another bit of data, clear transmit interrupt flag, because this has to be manually cleared. Microcontroller will not clear the flag and return from interrupt. That is go back to the main program. Okay, this is our main program where the microcontroller will continuously will be executing the main program. If the interrupt is not due to timer, sorry, transmission is not due to transmission, then it may be due to reception. Okay, so in that case, the reception means it has received 8-bit of data. So this 8-bit of data has to be saved somewhere else, otherwise it will be lost. Okay, so copy the data into accumulator. Why accumulator? Is because for most of the data transfer purpose we use accumulator. Okay, sometimes it is compiler dependent. the microcontroller may not some compilers may not allow other registers, so it's always better to copy into accumulator. So what I'm doing is I'm copying the data which is received serially. I'm sending it to port 0. Okay, so just for I mean transmission purpose. Okay, and after this, after receiving the data, before we receive another byte of data, we have to clear the RA flag, so that next time when the data is received will be alerted by the microcontroller. Okay, after executing this, execute a return from interrupt to go back to the main program. Okay, so that's how the program works. Yes, let us quickly run the program. Build target. Okay, so make sure that the timer of the crystal frequency is set to 11.092 megahertz. Okay, debug start session. Okay, yes, now yeah, so yesterday I was working on this, that's why I have this windows open. Okay, do I have any issue with the connection? I don't know. uh, I think it's working, no problem. Okay, it's fine. So so what are the windows I have here? Let me remove the port. Two is not port, is it I'm using? No, I'm not using port 2. I'm using port 0 as well as port 1. So port 2 is not required. Let us remove this. Okay, fine. Okay, so observe these windows, guys. This is very, very important. Okay, serial window as well as this window. Yes, I'll run the program using single step window so that we can understand the operation better. Okay, so I'll start with F11. F11 for single step execution. Okay, so the first line which is going to be executed is long jump main. It will jump to the main program. So first it will configure P1 as input port. It will configure port 0 as output port. Okay, is that we can see, you can observe here. Port 1 is configured as a input port. Port 0 is configured as a output port. Yes, but in the main program, what I'm doing is I'm receiving the data through port P1. Okay, so that's why what we do is I'll modify this date, this port 1 input data as some value. I'll take it as 20 HBS, for example. Okay, so before we execute this, I'll modify this data in the port P1 window, so that I, with this I mean to say that I have received the data 20 parallelly, which I have to copy into accumulator. That same data 20H I have to transmit serially using SBUF register. That's the basic idea. Okay. So let me continue with the execution of the main program. So first it will set the TMOD to 20H. Okay. So 20H is, you can observe in this serial timer window, which I have not opened of course. It is timer 1 in mode 2. Okay. So it will select 9600 baud rate. Okay, um, that you can observe here. So start the timer. So we can observe in the, let's observe here in the serial window, serial channel. Baud rate selected is 9600. Okay, and the mode of operation is 8-bit baud rate. Okay, yeah. Let's now observe this instruction now. So when I execute this instruction, look at the observe the accumulator. The data received from port 1 will be copied into accumulator. Okay, let us execute this instruction. Do I have any? Okay, no problem. Okay, so accumulator now becomes 20H. Okay, so the same data will go to SBUF. Let's observe this location now. Observe this location. Okay, so SBUF becomes 20H. That means I'm transferring 20H serially to the external device. Okay, yeah. Now this is infinite loop. This infinite loop is executed so that I will wait till the data is transmitted. Okay, so I'll continue to execute this program single step. I have to continuously hold F11. F11 for single step. Okay. This how long I have to hold. This yesterday I was observing that. Yes, can you see the states on the left hand side? States, it shows as 327 something like this. Okay. This will go approximately up to 900. Okay. It takes around 4 to 5 seconds. Okay. That is for 4 to 5 seconds you have to hold F11 so that this reaches around 900. Okay. Fine. Observe this, guys. This is very important. It's okay. It's around 4. Okay, 600. Okay, 761, 841. When it reaches 915, 950 around. Okay, slow down. Okay, let's observe this execution now. So now it will after transmitting the data serially, it will jump to ISR. Let's observe this very carefully. Okay, from the main program, it will jump to ISR. Yes, look at this. Okay, yes, that is once the data is transmitted till around 979, somewhere around 980. Okay, for nine states. Okay, it will jump to ISR. This what does it mean? By this, that means it has transmitted the data serially. Okay, that's why it is now in ISR. First, it will check for TI whether it is for due to TI. Okay, yes, it is due to TI because I transmitted the data serially. That's why it will. This condition is true. It will jump to trans function. Yes, before I execute this, look at this TI function is in this serial channel. TI is set to 1 because data is transmitted serially. When this instruction is executed, TI becomes 0. See, TI is reset to 0, and execution of RET instruction, it will jump back to the main program. Okay, and it will continue to run the main program till we transfer another byte of data. Okay, so we can change this, and we can let us say I can make it let us say some other data. I can continue to execute the code. Okay, so this shows the transmission of data serially. Okay, how to receive the data? This for that, what we have to do is this. Do you see this serial window, guys? Open serial window UART1. Now, guys, let us continue to execute this code. Let's select this window and type the number, guys. Select this window, type a number. Let us say I'm typing number into this window, but we can't see this. I don't know why. In this URT window, type a number, single character at a time. Let us say press 8. Okay, I can't see this. I can't read this, but you can give a try. You can run this compiler and you can see. Select this window and press a number. Now I have entered 8. Okay, go back to the main program, continue to execute in a single step. Okay, so what we understand is because I've given in the serial input 8, microcontroller has received the data serially, data 8. To process the data, there is it is an interrupt, it will jump to ASR. This did you see now? So now the interrupt is due to serial reception. Okay, so TA flag is not set to 1. Just did you observe RA flag is in this serial window? Can you observe this RA flag? Serial RA flag is set to 1. That means it has received the data serially. Okay, so thereby it will execute the main program. So TA is not set to 1. It was RA. So it will come out of this program. So now what it has to do is I've sent data 8. Okay, so the 8 data is available in SBUF register. That will copy it into accumulator. Okay, execute this instruction. We can see that the content of accumulator is 38. Okay, is what is the microcontroller is doing is whatever the character we enter, it will convert into its ASCII value. I entered character as 8. The content of accumulator is 38. Okay, so 38 is the ASCII value of 8. 38 is the hexadecimal number which represents ASCII value of a single character or single numeric 8. Okay, this after this what I'm doing is this in the ASR I'm copying it to port 0, just another operation to demonstrate serial to parallel communication, nothing else. Okay, this instruction is optional. Okay, so the data available in accumulator now will be copied into port 0. Guys can observe the content in port 0 is now 38. Okay, now after this I need to clear RA flag in the serial window so that I can receive another byte of data. I need to clear this RA flag that I'm doing in the ISR program. Okay, execute the clear RA. Okay, so this clear array will clear the array flag to 0. This can observe that clear array flag to 0. On execution of RET instruction, it will come out of the main program. It will jump to the main program. Okay, it will continue to execute this infinite code until we receive another byte of data. Let me give another byte of data, guys. Okay, select UART device. You have to select this. You have to enter the data, but unfortunately, I'm not able to see. I don't know why. I tried with other version of Kill compiler also, but I could not could not visualize the data. Yes, now I'll give character A, capital A, in UART window. Okay, let us see what happens. I'll go back to the main program. I'll press F11 once. That means let's do to observe a serial channel. Array is set to 1. That means it has received the data serially through UART window. So because of this, it has to process the data. It will jump to ISR. Okay, F11. I'll press F11. It goes to ISR. So it is not due to TI. It is due to array. It will go to next instruction. I gave the data as capital A. Let us see what is the content of accumulator. Okay, so it will convert capital A into its ASCII value. The ASCII equivalent of capital A is 41H. Okay, so now it's available in accumulator. Okay, so the same data will be transferred into port 0, that is 41H. parallel communication. Okay, so it will after receiving the data, it has to clear the RA flag. It will clear RA flag. RA flag becomes 0 in the flag serial channel window. We can observe. So on the execution of RET instruction, it will go down, come out of the ASR. It will jump to the main program. Okay. Yes, in this program, yes, we don't see this kind of a program in that the document I have shared. That PDF and the notes. They have written only for either transmission interrupt or reception interrupt. They have not handled both transmission interrupt and reception interrupt in the same program. Okay, so that's why I modified this program. That's why I shared. You can execute this program and you can observe. Okay, so this program demonstrate the interrupt due to transmission of data serially as well as reception of data serially. Okay, but to better understand the execution of the program, you have to execute stepwise. Okay, that is after debug start session, you have to press F11, and you should be should be very careful while providing the data. At what stage you provide the data? In the beginning, we'll provide data to the port P1 for transmitting the data serially. After transmitting the data serially, we receive the data serially using UART window. Is that okay? Fine. So this is about interrupt due to serial communication. Yes, okay, fine. Yes, now let us quickly, I'll continue with the doubling the baud rate. Yesterday, actually, we started with this discussion. This is very simple, okay? So, if the baud rate is not sufficient, yes, I think I can continue. Yeah, okay, here we go. So, if the baud rate is not sufficient, okay, let us say, for example, baud rate generated default by the microcontroller. If it is not sufficient, we have to go for what is known as doubling the baud rate. Okay, how do we double the baud rate? Two possibility: use the highest crystal frequency, which is not possible because crystal frequency is fixed. So use a additional method, that is using a special function register called as peak-on register. In this, we have a bit called as SMOD. If SMOD is 0, okay, so it will generate the default baud rate of 28,800 hertz. Okay, whereas if a smart bit is set to 1, it will generate double the baud rate, that is 57,600. Okay, how to read the program using this? Yesterday we have seen this diagram. Okay, yes, now when you're doubling the baud rate using a smart bit, uh, if you want 9,600 baud rate, okay, now what happens is that if you provide -3 with S mod 0, it will provide 9600 baud rate. With S mod is equal to 1, if you want 9600 baud rate, it should be -6. Okay, so -3 for S mod 0, if you want 9600 baud rate, -6 for, that is almost double. So what we understand from here also that these values are also double. Okay, so -6 for 9600. Okay, fine. We'll take a simple, we'll look into a simple program, guys. So we're going to double the baud rate using the crystal frequency 11.0592 megahertz. Okay, so in this case, the baud rate used is no 19,200, but the basic frequency is 57,600. So we need to generate 19,200. So we have to divide by 3. Okay, so -3 will generate 19,200 baud rate. Okay, so if it is for S mod 0, okay, so it will be a different value. So and then we're doubling the baud rate using S mod 1. Okay, and then we're using the value in the program. Okay, so the only difference is very simple, guys. You have to look into this table, select appropriate value of initial value to be loaded to th1 to generate that particular baud rate if you are doubling the baud rate. Okay, just for example, if S mod 0 will generate a baud rate of 9600 for -3. Okay, for S mod 1, for the same value of -3, we can generate a baud rate of 9200. Okay, so we can generate a higher, almost double the baud rate. Okay, 9000 is the initial value, double is 19,200. Okay, so it becomes very easy. So that's about other operation remains the same. Other code remains the same. Okay, so only thing what we are doing is we are doubling the baud rate using this value. That's all. Okay, and a smart one. So for a smart one, we need to load a value to peak on register. Okay, this is I'll let us understand these three lines. Okay, why do we do this? Okay, this peak-on is not a bit accessible register. Okay, it's a byte accessible register. Okay, so what we do is peak-on is the MSB of sorry, smart is MSB of pecan register. I need to set this bit to 1. Okay. So what we do is, since it is not bit accessible, first we copy pecan to accumulator, then set the pecan, sorry, MSB of accumulator to 1. Because this instruction is wrong. It should be set to B. Set to be accumulator dot 7. Okay. It will set MSB of accumulator to 1, which is copied from pecan. After this, copy the content of accumulator to pecan. Okay, that means smod is set to 1. Okay, why do we do this is because smod is not a bit accessible register. Okay, you may ask a question, why don't we directly load value to smod register? That is why we can't do this. For example, smod is should be 1. So that means we can load let us say uh, smart should be equal to 1. So for a pecan register, let us say we have to load you know 80 Okay, can we do this? Move pecan comma hash 80h. Yes, this we can do. But what happens is, if you do this, let us say there are other bits were already set by the microcontroller. Okay, for example, let us say gf0 was set to 1 or pd was set to 1, for example. Okay, so if you do this method, there is directly copying the data to pecan. These other bits of a pecan will affect, all this will become 0. We don't want to affect these bits. Okay, so that's why what we do is, first we'll copy the content of, okay, pecan to accumulator. Okay, so accumulator is equal to pecan, then modify the msb of accumulator is set to 1. Okay, then copy the content of accumulator to pecan register, just to make sure that other bits of a pecan are not affected. Okay, yes, you understood. So all this we do just to make sure that all this we do because pecan is not a bit accessible register. Okay, fine. Yes, this is about doubling the frequency. Yes, now let us quickly jump to C programs. We have seen timer and counter programming using there is what do you call using assembly language program. Let us look using C program. I'll take one or two examples, guys. Very simple examples. It's very straightforward also. Okay. Yes, let us look into this program. Um, Okay, this is 8051 C program to toggle all the bits of port on continuously with some delay. Okay, so for this delay, we're using timer 0 in 16-bit mode. That is timer 0 in mode 1 operation to generate the delay. Okay, fine. Yes, now let me copy the program so that I can directly execute in the assembler, sorry, in the compiler, and we can at the same time we can understand the program also. I'll take this program to the compiler. Okay. Okay. Let's now first step is how to execute the C program, guys. I'll remove this. Okay. Let me remove this also. Close. Okay. Because for C the data extension should be C. File new. Copy the program. Okay. Or type the program and save the file as. This what should be the file name? So you can give any file name, but the dot extension should be .c. Okay. Let us say this is a timer uh, in C, for example, timer in C dot C. Okay. So that dot extension is very important, guys. For assembly it is .asm. For C it is .c. Very simple. So save the program. Add the source code to the project by right clicking on the source group. Add existing files to source group. So the file, my file was uh, what was the file is t in C, timer in C, add, close. Okay, so now so this code is available here. Let's quickly first let us look into the program. How does the program works? Okay, yes, include register51.h. Guess what is register51.h? Guess it is a header file which consists of definition of all the special function register in microcontroller. This we have, if you remember, this we had seen in our regular class. Okay, when we are discussing variables of data types of embedded C, I had shown you guys this file. If you remember, we had seen the content of register51.h. Okay, it consists of all the definitions of all the special function register. Okay, fine. Okay, let's now. Okay, let us look at. Okay, let's now in the C language we know that we have to see. There are three things, guys. I think this I explained. When we discussed the data types in C. Okay, when it comes to function in C, there are three things. One is function definition. Okay. Next is what is known as function call. Function call. Okay. Function definition and function call. Okay. Yes. What is function definition? Okay. So we'll define what is the content of a function using function definition, and the function which is already defined we are going to call. Example for a function call is, I'll take simple example in C, printf. Yes, printf is a function, okay, which is called by the programmer using the keyword printf. Okay, where this function is defined, this function is defined in stdio.h. Correct. So this is for a standard function of library functions. Even if the user defines a function, he has to define the function in main program. Okay, define the function in main program and call the function in main program. Call from main program within the call within main program, within main program. Okay, so that's how. So the functions can be defined. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm going to define a function, okay, which is called as time zero delay. But before we call this function, the compiler should know that this function exists. Okay, so this is what is called as function description. Okay, so this is another another convention called as function description. So what is function description is that before we call a function, okay, we should tell the compiler that in our program we have a program, the function called as timer zero delay, okay, which does not take any value nor it will return any value, which I'm going to use somewhere in my main program. Okay, sometimes this option is this actually sometimes depends on the compiler. Some compiler need not don't demand this, but some compiler demands that whatever the program we are going to use in the main program, whatever the function we are going to use in the main program should be defined before the start of execution of main program. Okay, it's just information to the compiler saying that I'm going to use a particular function. Okay, fine. So this is not a function. This is a function description. Okay, we're just informing the microcontroller that, the compiler that I'm going to use a function called as timer zero. Okay, fine. Yes, let us look into the main program. The format is like the syntax is like this. Main program does not take any value, nor it will return any value. Okay, yes, in some programming, especially in the first year program, main program. Okay, yes, another 10 minutes left, so I'll wind up quickly. Um, Okay, guys. Now in the first year program, we had seen this one. Okay, if you guys remember in the main the first year C programs, okay, we define function main function like this main. Okay, we didn't specify any void, okay, or any parameter as void. Okay, this is again compiler dependent. Some compiler demands that void should be specified as an argument if you are not sending any argument to the main function. If you are not returning any value from the main, you should specify it as main. Okay, so this for syntax is basically depend on the compilers. Okay, in Keel compiler we have to specify this. Okay, we have to specify what is the argument sent to the function and what is the argument returned by the function. Okay, fine. Yes, now we have to generate a continuous square pulse with some delay. So I'm going to use a while loop, infinite loop while loop. Okay. Yes. Now, how do we assign a value in the variable to a variable in C program, guys? So in this case, first of all, P1 is not C. It is not a C variable. It is special function register defined in register 51.h. Okay. So that's why I'm going to use P1 directly. I load 55 to P1, port 1. Okay, initial value to port 1, guys, just for toggling purpose. I need to toggle the bits of a port 1 continuously. So that's why I'm loading some initial value to port P1. Okay, call the delay. Okay, so there is before we toggle the content of port 1, I'm calling the delay. How do I call the delay? By using the name of the function. Okay, so call the delay, toggle the bits of a port 1. So initially it was 55, now it becomes AH. So it means we are toggling the bits of a port 1 and again call the delay. Okay, so port 1 is going to continuously toggle between 55 and AA. Between that we are using delay. Okay, so whenever delay function is called, it will jump to this delay function. Like this is also very simple. So the timer zero delay is the name of the function. Yes, this is called as function definition. Okay. Yes, here in this program we have three things: function description. This is function call. Okay, these two are called as function call. Timer zero delay is a function call. This is a function definition. Okay, so we should understand the difference between those three. Okay, that's what we do in the function call is in this delay function is I'm initializing tmod register to use timer zero in mode one. So initial value I'm taking some value, some delay, random delay, guys. It is generating approximately 56 milliseconds. Okay. So initial value is 00 to TS0, 35 to TS0. Yes, you can use this to instruct these two instruction in any way. So that is first you can initialize TS0, then you can initialize TS0. That's not a problem. Okay. How to start the timer, guys? Load bit 1 to TR0. How do we do it in our assembly code? How do we start a timer in assembly? Using an instruction set b tr0. So that in the C program we do it as tr0 is equal to 1. Okay, but it should be in capital letters because we know that C is case sensitive. So here in the register 51 we defined all the bits as a capital. That's why we have to use capital. Otherwise compiler generates error. Okay, so tr0 is equal to 1. Okay, now we have to wait till the flag is to be set to 0, set to 1. Okay, how do we do that in assembly, guys? How do we wait till the flag set to 1? JNB TF1. Okay, comma dollar symbol, that is execute the same line. We wait till the flag is set to 1. Okay, how do we do that in the C program, guys? It's very simple. While tf0 is equal to 0, that is execute the same line, semicolon. Please observe the semicolon. So the content body of this while loop is only single there is no instruction in this while loop. It will execute the same line because of the semicolon. It will execute the same line till this condition is false. When this condition will be false, when tf0 is set to 1. Once tf0 is set to 1, it will come out of the main program. Come out of this while loop. It will reset tf0 is equal to 0 and tr0 is equal to 0 and tf0 is equal to 0. tr0 is equal to 0 means stop the timer. tf0 is equal to 0 means reset the flag. Okay, yes, how do we do this in our assembly code? In assembly code we do it as clear tr0 and clear tf0. That's all. Okay, so these are the equivalent instructions. Okay, guys, let us execute the program. Okay, so next is build target. Okay, yes, if everything goes well, did you observe something is added to the this C program, guys? You can see the plus symbol. If there is no error, it will attach this header file to the project. Okay, so what is this header file basically consist of? Header file consists of definitions of all the special function register in 8051 microcontroller. Okay, for this, for example, let us look into P3. Okay, not P3, that is TCON register. Sorry, TMOD register is. Okay, TMOD is defined as a capital, but bitwise. Just a minute. Just a minute. Um, IE register. Sorry. Okay, this is TR0 is available in IE register, so it is somewhere here. I'll show why it is capital. Okay, so we have defined all the special function registers as capital. Okay, TR0. Okay, let's observe here. In TCON register, we have a special function register TCON. We have TR0. Okay, TR0 is defined as S bit. Okay, since it is capital, in the main program we have to use it as TR0 capital. Here, if you use small letters, please, for example, let's change this to small TR0. Okay, let me run the program. Let us see what happens. Okay. Okay, tr0 target is not created, there is an error. What is an error? Place undefined identifier. Tr0 is not defined because tr0 is invalid. That is small tr0 is invalid. We have to use capital tr0 because in the header file it is defined as capital tr0. Okay, in the header file we define it as capital tr0. Okay, fine. Yes, anyway, let us quickly run the program. So build target, make sure that the errors are 0. When error is 0, this header file is attached to the project. Okay, so frequency of operation should be 11.0592 megahertz for all timer and counter and serial communication programs. Make sure that the frequency is 11.0592 megahertz. Okay, debug start session. Okay, so I don't want this port zeros now. Let me close all this. So I'll go to the logic analyzer window. Okay, So I'm sending the data to port P1. Okay. So let me open the logic analyzer window, setup, go to new. Okay. Give it as port P1. Okay. And now since I'm using all the bits of a port P1, don't change it to bit. It is analog only. As I'm analyzing all the bits of a port P1. Close. Okay. This what is the next step is debug, run. Okay. So we see that it is generating the the signals on port P1. To observe the the port P1, I'll stop the execution simulation, zoom all. Okay. So take a point and zoom in. Okay. So what is the delay we are expected to generate this? So delay was approximately 56 milliseconds. Okay. Let me see whether I'm getting the same delay. Sometimes what happens, there will be slight variation because of the compiler factor. This we had understood in the earlier discussion also. Sorry, this I changed. Just a minute. Okay, fine. Let us check this. What is the delay? I need to signal information cursor. I'll use all this so that I can not amplitude. Okay, so select this. Okay, select one edge. I think I'm left with only one, little more than 1 minute. Let me. Okay, let's observe the delay is delta. Observe the delta. What is the value of delta is 56.21 milliseconds. Okay. What is the actual value to be generated? 56.38. Okay. Anyway, so it's not accurate. As I again said, this point of the measurement, if it is not accurate, again it will give some wrong value. 56.5. See, now it is indicating 56 point. Actual value expected is 56.3 milliseconds, approximately closer. Okay, as I said, it may not be always accurate. Yes, anyway, so that's how we can execute, conduct. We can write the programs in C language. So I suggest you to go through some more programs in these. It's given in these files. Okay, you can execute two more programs. If you have any doubt, you can get back to me, guys. Okay. Yes, anyway. So with this, I'm going to stop. It's going to end the meeting anyway. So for only 30 seconds left. Yes, thanks for joining. Okay, thanks for joining. Happy weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, good day. Bye. Bye.